Previously on my videos, I've already talked about the first issue of Algatras, the making of process and what went on under it. However, I had yet to talk about the lore behind the series. So let's get right into it. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Alrav from Quebec, Canada, the author and creator of Algatras the Protector / Algatras le Protecteur. And for today's video, we'll be looking at the lore that went behind this comic book series. All you need to know is that Zextron, the main antagonist of my series, is the ultimate form of cancel culture and cyber mobs that have become rampant through the use of social networks and smart devices. So let me show you how it happened. The world of Algatras takes place in a futuristic setting in which video games have evolved away from being a simple form of entertainment within the boundary of string in self-contained virtual world to becoming a major terrorist superpowers. So how did it happen? It reflects the history of video games in general. So for starters, not including the early prototypes for computers, such as in the early Cold War in the 1950s. The first video games were self-contained in the form of these arcade cabinets of sort, with the likes of Pongs and Space Invaders amongst other titles, before eventually making their way to home consoles with switchable controllers and games cartridge. However, there was this big crash of 1983, but after this came and went, the market was revived again thanks to Nintendo, who put forth a quality control as well as the D-pad amongst many other things. And then video games soon evolved to become portable, as well as the graphics and the technology getting better. Eventually they made the jump to 3D with virtual world that was much impressive than ever before. And soon after, as they made the slow leap toward HD, high definition graphics, they also started moving with brand new ways of playing games such as the motion controls and touchscreens, amongst other things. They became increasingly online centric, with players being able to connect across the world. And soon it wasn't no longer just dedicated gaming devices that allowed them. The widespread of smart devices and social networks made games into something that's omnipresent in people's life, and virtual reality came in to add even more immersion than ever before possible. And soon, with the advent of the cloud gaming technology, video games were now able to be played on just about any devices that's connected to the internet and the cloud specifically. And while that happened, while everybody else was distracted with all these games, we all fell into a cyberpunk style dystopia with the likes of mass surveillance, media corporations, and the likes. Does it sound like the real world? Well, you bet it is, because that's what it is. Now, the idea of having gamers as enemies for a superhero / anti-hero like Algatras is nothing new or revolutionary by itself. Even myself, I can come up with many different examples. However, if you were to take an established character or IP and put them against gamers out of the blue, it most likely would stick out like a sore thumb. However, for a brand new character like Algatras, it is much less of an issue, and if anything, it only adds up to the character, as it is a reflection of the sci-fi settings around it, as well as a reflection of the character in itself. The short and sweet version of the lore is simple. Zextron is the main antagonist in the form of this ultimate Kusogi title. Algatras is a former user of it who's now driven by revenge. A supporting crew consists of the team element of this book and take place largely behind the scene. They are all bound to the system of the GIA, which is the global equivalent of the CIA in this universe. And if they are author protector agents, that's the term for superheroes in my universe. The short answer is most of them are dead or missing as of the events of the first issue. So it will be all up to Algatras to keep the fight going against the likes of Zextron. There might be other allies or enemies in the future, but for now the conflict is largely centered around both of them. And that's the lore behind Algatras. With that being said, thanks for watching. As always, let me know what you think in the commentary section below. The first issue of Algatras the Protector / Algatras le Protector is available on my Substack. The links are available in the description below or on my channel's page. The first issue is available for free in both English and French, as well as its blog comics companion that is being updated on a daily basis with brand new story content. With that being said, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see one another very soon. Enjoy the reading.